And welcome back to the week of Who Would Win. This one comes to us from, oh God. One second. It was Cursing Tomcat 37? Cursing Tomcat 37. Side note real quick. Dragon Ball Super Broly versus Saitama. Side note real quick. It happened I'm trying to figure out when it happened. But I want to say it was either before or just after the first of the year, where YouTube handles changed. Because I look at a lot of the YouTube handles now, and they all have numbers or letters after the initial name. They didn't used to have that. For example, I've always been Clockwork Highlander, and I assume if I comment on a video, I am Clockwork Highlander. But I don't know. Maybe it's someone will have to just comment on a video at some point and see if it comes up as something else, like Clockwork Highlander 772 or whatever, at whatever. Because I've just seen everything has changed over to that. I'm just wondering where that came from. Because a lot of my old viewers now, for a moment, I was thinking they're different people, and then I realized, no, it's the same person, just something's been added to their handle, so I need to make sure not to make a completely separate category for that person when I transcribe all the suggestions when the notebook eventually gets filled up. Which, it's not filled up yet. I've still got a good couple pages before I get to fill, when I say good couple, I mean like maybe 10 pages. How many pages I got left in here? As I am just randomly going off right now I don't have the Who Would Win book here right now. Anyway, I got like at least 10, 15 pages, but I have a stopping point I'm going to reach, a couple pages before the end of the notebook to know, all right, this is where I'm going to start now. On the off chance I still get more suggestions while I'm doing it, I will have some room. I digress, though. Saitama versus Dragon Ball Super Broly. Again, one where I probably should have put this in the speed round. Look, Saitama, we know both their stories. Saitama, he wanted to be a hero. He was a hero for fun. He worked out, did 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, slept with the AC off, did I can't remember exactly what his exact training was, but when Genos heard it, it's like, that's just a standard amount of training. How did you get this so strong? I'm not lying. That's just what happened. What is basically theorized at this point, and pretty much confirmed, is that he broke his natural limiter. And so he has no limitations. Now, he has said he can't get any stronger. What I think that ultimately means is not that he's isn't capable of getting stronger. There's just nothing to push him to get stronger in his world at this point. So I think that's what that statement means. But as the hero for fun, or now, but no longer a hero for fun, now he's actually got, a job. He's the physically strongest individual in his universe. He is the One Punch Man. He's the strongest hero and character to date in his universe. This game makes him deceptively fast as well, durable. He's been able to move faster than like supersonic speeds. He's been able to take literal planetary level blasts of power from King Boros. And specifically, the most recent big fight he had was from the monster version of Garo, where he literally got punched. What did he get punched into, or did he? I think it was a teleportation. They were teleported to a moon of Jupiter, if I'm not mistaken, and they were fighting there, which leads to the next big thing. The fact that he can pretty much survive in the vacuum of space by holding his breath, or the very, very, very thin atmosphere of the moon, I think is the more likely scenario there. But he was breathing fine on Mars, or he's just holding his breath somehow. Like, if I hold my breath, I can't suddenly talk without exhaling. Yes, I'm technically not breathing while I'm doing this, but I can only go so far with talking before I eventually run out of air and I have to take a breath and so forth, so on, And then I had to take a breath. But Saitama, no, that's not what was happening there. Saitama was able to actually talk. So he was somehow able to stay, because that moon has an atmosphere. So he can apparently survive in very low atmospheres. But beyond that, he's also able to survive the radiation Garo was putting out in that form. And obviously then we have to get into his level of strength, which ever since the Garo fight has been way pretty jacked up from a scaling perspective. Because his strongest feat, I think, was the meteor feat when he destroyed the meteor, and the Boros feat when he destroyed the roaring cannon. But then you got the feat of him and Garo clashing in outer space. Both their attacks collided, went outwards in space, and then there was no stars. That was galaxies, solar systems, or maybe galaxies gone. And knowing that there is the delay in time for light reaching certain points, depending on how far the light is, that's kind of breaking physics at that point. But while that certainly was a majority of Saitama's, that feat was majority-wise Saitama, you got to factor in that partly was Garo too. So that was not entirely Saitama's power. That was a chunk of, even granted, it was probably close to like 60-40, 30-70, but still 30% of that amount of power is still insane. And even though that wasn't all of Saitama's power, you assume, because we know at that point Saitama still wasn't at full power, he is capable of doing that. That still doesn't give us the full idea of how strong he is, because we know he still wasn't at his top strength then. He still wasn't going all out. In fact, he was still having a relatively easy time with Garo at that point. Maybe not relatively. He actually was putting in a solid amount of effort. It was the first opponent who could really give him a fight beyond Boros to a certain degree, but he still beat him. Even when Garo did the time travel shit, he still beat him. And Saitama apparently was able to instinctively copy that, but he doesn't remember how he did it. And he's so strong he can literally grab a portal, a literal portal of space, and just flip it. He just grabbed it. That's kind of nuts. But Broly is just another level of beast. Because we are talking about an individual who, even in his base form, could give God-enhanced base form, God-enhanced base form, and God-enhanced Super Saiyan Vegeta and Goku a straight run for their money before even going into a Kari form. Now, you're already talking about an individual who is, roughly speaking, on a mild universal level in their base forms. You add this 50 times multiplier Super Saiyan on there, now you're scaling way above there. Then you add any other Super Saiyan transformations, now you're talking about God knows how strong. And Broly's able to keep up with at least the base form and the Super Saiyan form. The minute he went to Akari, he was bitch-smacking Super Saiyan gods around who can break universes by punching with their fists. And then he went Super Saiyan on top of that, which is 50 times on top of the 10 times, and was smacking around Super Saiyan Blues like it was nothing. And then he went into his legendary state, and he was literally breaking the fabric of reality. Actually, he was breaking the fabric of reality before that. And then he went into his Super Saiyan Berserk state, as it's kind of known, legendary Super Saiyan form, which and his power output was so great that he was just breaking reality with Gogeta. Saitama is not, at least not yet, he's not a reality breaker. Now, I will say this. Saitama might be able to take out Broly if he's not powered up all the way. If he's only in his base form, Saitama's got a good shot at victory. The minute Broly starts to transform into higher planes of power, though, that win ratio goes down quick until eventually, if he hits Super... And Akari, maybe he could win still, but now you're pushing it. And the minute he hits Super Saiyan, it's done. It's done. Because, again, it was in Super Saiyan that he was able to actually really shatter reality itself. So, and again, Saitama was able to, waste galaxies, waste solar systems, multiple. But he wasn't able, he's not a reality breaker yet. I keep having to reiterate, yet. We have no idea what they're going to do with him later on in the series. But no, he's not a reality breaker yet. And so, so the thing here is Saitama, I think, could beat base form Broly. In fact, he very much has the edge over base form Broly, even at full power. The only issue is base form Broly's power supersedes just about everyone else in One Punch Man. Durability and power, he's already stronger than 95% of the characters. The only ones you can make an argument he still might not be that much stronger than is Boros and Monster Garo. But the minute he goes into Akari, which again was able to literally smack down a Super Saiyan God Vegeta and a Super Saiyan God Goku, then you're talking about a level of power that no one in One Punch Man has. The power to literally shatter universes. So, and even in base form, like I said, he's got durability enough to probably take hits from Saitama. And because his power is kind of fueled by his rage, he would get angry, he would get stronger quicker, the fight would continue for a while. Saitama would be like, hey, he's pretty strong, and then eventually Akari would kick in, most likely. And he'd suddenly realize he can actually feel the hits. And then as he gets angry and angry, eventually hitting Super Saiyan, Saitama goes all out. But at that point, Broly can just wipe him out just by getting angry and powering up. And the punch would shatter reality and probably shatter his fist or whatever. And he could just annihilate him with an energy blast. While Saitama has the ability to beat base Broly, is definitely physically stronger, if nothing else. Base Broly has the durability to last long enough to reach the higher levels of power. And at that point, he's not going to. At that point, Saitama can't match him. So, like I said, probably another one should have gone in the speed round, but there's at least a little bit more caveats here than the Clone Trooper one. The Clone Trooper one, there's a literal statement saying the Stormtroopers were worse than the Clone Troopers. Like, I don't know why I didn't do that. Anyway, maybe it's because I didn't know that, and therefore I didn't think to put it in the speed round. Anyway, I digress. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks next time. Have a good one.